Exercise 13C, question 6B, a homework problem. Y dashed is equal to e to the 2 minus x. That's the gradient function of the curve. They're asking you to find the equation of the curve given that it passes through 0 and -1. Now, if y dashed is e to the 2x minus 1, to find y, what do? Integrate or differentiate? Integrate. So to integrate that, you get 1 over a. Now, a happens to be -1. E to the 2 minus x plus c. So it's y equals negative e to the 2 minus x plus c. So that's the first bit of the question. Now, we need to work out what c is, and they've told us that the curve passes through 0, 1. So that's a point on the y curve, not the y dash. So we're going to substitute x is 0, y is 1, which happens to be the point 0, 1, into this. And we get y is 1, x is 0, 2 minus 0 is 2. So therefore c should be 1 plus e squared. Is that what we got? C is 1 plus e squared. Therefore the curve is y equals negative e to the 2 minus x plus 1 plus e squared. That's the curve. Now it says to find the equation of the horizontal asymptote. Girls, why don't you just substitute a large positive value of x and a large negative value of x. Can you do that now? So when why don't you just say as x approaches infinity, y approaches. Now let's just see if this bit, so you need to go negative e, just if you're putting, say, x is positive 100 or something, or positive 10, you go negative e to the negative 8, because 2 minus 10 is negative 8. So try, well, that's obviously approaching 0. So negative e to the negative 8, that would be, for example, when x is positive 10, y is approaching 0. Did you do negative e to the negative 8? I've just substituted x is 10 in here. That's a big value of x, fairly big value. And you get y approaches 0 plus 1 plus e squared, because there's no x substitution there. So as x approaches positive infinity, like big values, positive values of x, y approaches, that becomes 0 plus 1 plus e squared. We get y approaches 1 plus e squared. So that's your horizontal asymptote. Was that the answer? Yeah. You can try as x approaches negative infinity, see what you get. Try when x is, say, negative 10, you'd get negative e to the positive 12. That's not an asymptote.
How do you do
vertical asymptotes would be any values of x that aren't allowed. Now, I can't see any values of x there that aren't allowed because of the type of equation. The only time you'll get values of x that aren't allowed is if you've got something under a square root sign, 1 over x, all right? So I've just tried positive infinity. You could try negative infinity, but negative infinity is not the asymptote because you get a really big value, all right? You want the value that's approaching something, and that appears to be approaching 0. You could try it by putting 10 and then maybe trying 15, making sure you're still approaching 0. Got the idea?